What's up, everybody? My name is Tikoa Morris, also known as TK with the sizzle. Well, not really, but if you want to add the sizzle to it, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm definitely also called TK, and I'm just hopping on here to do something that I've wanted to do for a while. I just didn't have the time to do it, but I am so excited to bring this to you today. So now what I'm going to be doing, since it is December 1st, I am going to be journaling, so to speak, or just, I guess, vlogging. I don't know. I'm new to the whole, you know, social media and video world, hence the reason why I'm calling it social media and video. But I'm new to this. I'm going to do this every day. Today is day 1 of 31 days that we could transform our minds as leaders and get new in 2022. Right? So on day 1, we're going to focus on a concept that I use a lot in art and voicing. As an artist and a singer and a voice teacher, there is a word that I think, first of all, the word is dope. All right, it's so cool. I love it a lot. I learned it a few years ago, and I kind of take that word to apply it not just in the art form, but also in life. You ready for the word? Now, you might want to write this down, okay? Write the word down. Do what you got to do. But the word is called chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro, right? As you can imagine by the way that I just did that accent, this is an Italian word. Chiaro for light, scuro for dark. So what am I talking about? This is a technique that when it is employed in the visual arts, it represents light and shadow as they define a three-dimensional object. And let's pause for a minute, because I know you're thinking, okay, what is she talking about? Now, let me just give a quick little disclaimer. This video is for leaders, okay? Anyone can use this video, right? It's for everyone. However, if you are a leader and you're responsible for leading people, then definitely pay attention to what I'm saying. I think this is some good stuff in here you probably can use, and I promise not to oversimplify it. I just, I have a habit of always processing a lot of complex ideas that I understand plainly, but sometimes just because I understand it, I say it in a simple way and you kind of miss the context. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper with it so that you can fully understand and be able to use the principle of chiaroscuro in your everyday life. Now back to three-dimensional. When I say three-dimensional, what I'm talking about is what is represented as real to us. So let me give you an example. If I were to draw a square with a triangle on top, you would say, you tried to draw a house, okay? However, if I were to draw a cube with a cone on the top, you would say, wow, that's a pretty realistic looking house, all right? So hence, three-dimensional, for the sake of this video, is going to represent what is real to us. And so chiaroscuro, back to that nice, cool word, it shapes our perception of what is real to us. So how we perceive the real things that are going on around us, right? As a leader, our perception is what's going to shape our actions, and it determines how we react or respond. Okay. Now the actions, those are very important. They are the mechanism by which we as leaders solve problems. Now, this is 2021. Hopefully, you know that as a leader, you are tasked with the responsibility of solving the world's problems and doing it with ease, doing it with cool and calm and composure. All right. So, hey, we need a little chiaroscuro in our life. What are you talking about, TK? We need a little dark and light? Yes, we do. All right, so here it goes. So in art and in voice, we manipulate the principles of chiaroscuro to create a visual or an auditory perception of shadow and light, or bright tones and dark tones. Why am I talking about this? All right, what's the point? Because as leaders, we sort of get set into a leadership style. It can sort of make us seem a little sterile. And I mean sterile as in meaning, we just are sort of one way and there's no dynamic to us at all. We're just all one way. All right. It can be hard to depart from, especially if this is something that's now deeply ingrained in our personality, and our experiences orchestrating the symphony, so to speak, can cause us to perceive the darkness of tones in situations as overpowering to the light of the tones. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Let's simplify it. Or we can allow certain things to overshadow the light of the situation. Now, I am not introducing anything new. This is not a new concept. I mean, we've all been taught that you have to see the silver lining, all right? Or we take the bitter with the sweet in life. The life is full of the yin and the yangs. We all know this. However, I am just bringing in a new concept borrowed from art and from music to give you the same principle of trying to see the positivity in everything, but just in a way that I feel like could possibly resonate a little more deeply and teach you how to actually use this in real life. All right. So, the reason why I'm bringing this to you is because in just 31 days, 2022 will be arriving. She's going to be here. Or he. If it's a bad year, then it's a he. All right? But 2022 is going to be here. And in the third year of the COVID-19 pandemic, the old perception, the old impulses, the old proclivities and responses to events that happen in our world will no longer serve us well. We have to change up the way that we perceive things because that perception is going to shape how we respond and react. So, in 2022, what I'm saying is proper management of the principle of chiaroscuro, the shadows and the light, the dark and the bright tones of situations we face when we are leading people is how we are going to overcome many of the challenges that lie ahead for leaders. So, allow me to paint a picture for you because I love to paint. That's what I do, right? You ready? Let's go on this ride. So, you are in the final quarter of the year, and there is a company goal in every department because the company wants to push to end the year strong. Unless you own your business like I do, and you have your own personal company goals, you want to end it big on the year. So there are new and final goals for the quarter. With only 3 months left, you push your team the best way you know how. You present the goal, you give them the motivational talk, you set the parameters, and you send them off. You review your results for the first month in that quarter. And you realized that although you gave them such a good speech, you set the expectations up nicely because you're a pro at setting expectations, right? You're the expectation pro. But you realize the team still missed the goal by 10%. You also notice, however, that everyone on the team rose to the occasion. Even some of your least productive team players increased their output by 10% overall. So what happens next? What you gonna do? How are you going to handle this situation that didn't hit the goal? So let's look at chiaroscuro. How are we going to balance out the dark and the light? The shadows and the light, the dark and the bright tones of the situation, right? How are we going to do it? You know what? Think about a black and white photo. Do you see this whole story in black and white? You know, black and white has shadows, and it has bright, and they have mid. Okay, so see it in black and white. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? Now let's apply chiaroscuro, and let's look at it this way. So we're going to go to art. You recognize in your mind that some people have increased their performance by 10%, but still the team did not meet the goal. So now what's happening is the fact that they failed to reach the goal is overshadowing the fact that everyone rose to the occasion, right? Everyone rose to the occasion, and you're letting it overshadow it. So all you can think about is they did not reach the goal. So you don't acknowledge that hard work that they put in. They've been on your team for 9-10 months now. You don't acknowledge it. You just focus on you didn't reach the goal. So you have your team meeting. You didn't reach the goal. You send out the email. Upper management is disappointed. You didn't reach the goal. You hold a midweek meeting because now you are focusing on every little thing they do, and you're restricting breaks, and you're timing people on lunch, and now your micromanaging is like over the top, and they did not reach the goal. That's the song they hear. How unencouraging is that for a team member who just put in all their heart and soul to increase their productivity, and now all they hear is, I did not reach the goal? What do you think is going to happen for the next 2 months in the quarter? Because of the overshadow. They could never fully live in the moment that they just experienced a 10% increase in their overall output. They've been humping for the whole year trying to do that, and they just did it, and you didn't reach the goal. That's all they hear. I don't like that scenario very much. I don't think your team does either. So let's shift gears. Chiaroscuro. Let's take it over to the musical side. All right, let's talk about bright and dark. Let's talk about overtones. All right? You are so pumped up. Upper management don't know why. They just chewed you out. Your team missed the whole pacing goal, right? They just missed the entire pacing goal, but you're so pumped because of the gallant effort that was put forth by your team. They worked as a team. They paced as a team. Even your weakest team players, your least productive, they switched into high gear, and they saw an increase of 10% in productivity, and you are pumped. Yeah, they didn't reach the goal, but you didn't let that be the overtone for the scenario. You didn't reach the goal, but something happened. The team went into overdrive. I want to find out, is there something in the market that's happening that allowed them to produce those types of results? So let me research the market a little bit and see what's going on. Let's see if that trend is going to continue for the next 2 months. Or maybe it was your speech. Maybe you should give those motivational speeches more often, right? Because you're good at that. You're good at setting expectations. Now you're learning as a leader that, hey, I'm good at motivational speeches too. So just check that off on the list of leadership development, right? Great communication skills now. Or maybe those weaker people that increase the productivity, maybe they're doing something different. So now let me just listen in on them. Let's see what they're doing. Let me have a one-on-one. Let's find out what their new process is that's helping them create or generate these new results, right? You do all this research. You acknowledge them. You give them open appreciation. You give high fives to the people who've been anchoring the team down for the whole year anyway, that are probably great influences on the entire team. You're all, hey, look, I got a promotion for you. You've been consistent every month over month. You're exceeding goals. I'm seeing it. You really stepped up. You got your team members to step up with you. I'm making you a team lead. People are getting raises. It's phenomenal. And then you are able to come up with a plan now because you have all this research. You have your team players on board. You got the weaker people. They're even more pumped than ever. They didn't know that they could accomplish it. Now they want to exceed what they did. Chiaroscuro. There was no overtone. There was no dark overtone if you didn't reach the goal, because now you're optimistic. We didn't get it in October, but we're going to crush it in November and December, though. Chiaroscuro. Balancing out the dark and the bright. That's what I'm here to talk about. So let's think about it. This is day 1 of 1 to 31 new into 2022. Chiaroscuro is your word, such a cool Italian word. Put it into practice, put it into use. One final prescription para ti, or for you, because I'm not the best Spanish speaker. One final prescription. See the good in everything. See God in everything. And I'm out to tomorrow. I gotta go to work. Bye, y'all.